Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Jujutsu Kaisen Aoi Todo figure. Finally, we have Best Friendo! So sick to finally have Todo. He is one of the best characters in this series, and it has been a long time coming finally. There are still some other characters I would love for Tamashii Nations to announce for this line. They have not been announcing anything lately, and I am kind of worried about that. But right now, I am going to enjoy this figure in my hands. So there's not much else for me to talk about. Y'all know Todo if you're familiar with Jujutsu Kaisen. So looking at the packaging, very nice box. Pretty wide. You have the figure in the box there. It's at Bandai Namco in the top right. S.H. Figuarts Aoi Todo Jujutsu Kaisen. Images of the figure on the side there in different poses. And some of the accessories you can see as well. We get down here. It is made in China. The Jujutsu Kaisen logo is down there on the bottom right, as well as the Tamashii Nations logo, the Bandai logo, and the Tamashii Nations quality sticker. If I can get this centered. On this side, with the Jujutsu Kaisen line, they do these little square images of some of the different details and features for this figure. A little bit of purple right there. Very nice colors of purple throughout the box. I wish I got a custom 112 purple shirt before this review. I was not able to get one, sadly. Looking down here, there's not much going on. Again, it said Aoi Todo. When we look on the top of the box, though, you have the figure right there in a pose, just as Aoi Todo once again. Right here, he's about to do Boogie Woogie. Once again, Aoi Todo. On the back of the packaging, top half here, you see the figure in different poses, as well as simple style and heroic action, option parts, and all that. Down here, we do have a barcode there in case you need it. The Toho animation logo in ages 15 and up. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. Here is the figure out of the packaging. This is an extremely awesome figure. I'm so happy with it. I've only played around with it for a little bit, but it's super awesome. It's not perfect. I have a couple of minor imperfections in my particular figure, and there's a couple things that Tamashii Nations did here that I don't know if I love yet, but by no means do I think that this is a bad figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a close look at the figure. We have an instruction manual for this figure. Sometimes they will do the paperless only for these figures, to where it's a barcode on the inside of the box and it takes you to a PDF. But with some of these figures lately, they've been getting actual paper manuals. I'm good either way, whether it's paper or paperless, but it's cool to see the different accessories and how to interchange everything on here. Here's a top-down view of all the different accessories that Todo comes with. If you do want to skip to another part of the review, I don't blame you. These reviews can be pretty long, but I am going to go in depth about each accessory. Starting with the arms cross accessory that I'm so glad that they included, because we had it with the Dragon Ball line, the Naruto line, now we're getting it with the Jujutsu Kaisen line. I don't know what other lines I think came with arms cross accessories. I'm drawing a blank, but these are really cool. We have the skin color molded like this, so it's a little bit more pale, but then they added the paint to make it look more tan like the rest of his body, and that's really sick. All the nice muscles going on here, the elbows, look at that. All the muscles on there, really nicely done. You have the fingers right there. The way that is tucked in looks very natural. And then this part here is all smooth to form to the chest. And then these are really nice thick pegs that go into the shoulders. Here is an image of the figure with the arms crossed accessory. And sometimes with these figures I have trouble doing it, whether they be too loose or too tight. This is the perfect kind of fit with Todo here. They go on and they're very secure. You can move them around a little bit. It forms to the chest really well, and then they pop out easily enough. So I really dig how they did this. Now onto the faces. I love this one here. We all love this face where he's doing Boogie Woogie. Very memeable face. Very awesome. All these faces are going to be done in a very similar fashion with the scar, of course. But the paint on here is really nice. I think that the way that the hair comes through too, the way that paint on there, a little bit of the detailing on the sideburns too, the ears, the separation of the teeth and the tongue there in the mouth, that's hilarious. And the way that he squints his eyes, this is just so funny. The bone structure on there is also really nice. And then we have screaming happy Todo there when he's calling out to Yuji. This is really cool too. Really clean paint apps in the tongue and teeth there. All that looks really fantastic. I was going to say maybe they might need a tiny bit more white underneath here, but it's really not a big deal at all. The eyes here look really good. All those, when the eyes are open, they're nicely printed, of course. And then detailing on the scar, of course. Let's see if they're the exact same. I don't know what it is, but I feel I guess if he's doing more exaggerated things with his face, this is pretty exaggerative. But You can see more scars, or a little bit more wrinkling going on in the scar there compared to the one on the right, I feel like. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, but it's something I just noticed. It's not really that much of a complaint. That is sick. So this face here, here's the thing. We have two stern type of expressions. The left one is more of a normal stern face. You can see that the eyes look very nice and angry there. The lip color is very, the paint in the line there in between the lips is nice. This one here, I believe, is for, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess he kisses this. And then, like, you have an accessory to hold this, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I guess this face is for when he wants to, like, grab the locket there. But this face also looks rather nice as well. Okay, so I don't remember if they originally said that we were going to get this, but right before this figure was coming out, they did confirm that we were going to get this not medallion, it's a locket that has Yuji and Takada's image in there, which is kind of hilarious. But as you can see there, you have a little bit of silver paint. It's mostly just softer plastic. It's not bendy or anything. It's a little, so they painted this silver and then black because I can see a silver splotch, or they just have a silver splotch on there for nothing. So I don't know what it is. I think this might actually be a black piece of plastic. Not entirely sure, but there's definitely paint apps throughout the whole thing here, and it looks really nice. You do have the hand for holding it right here. You just fit it in between the finger and thumb. Very cool. So let's start with the hands. We only have one right hand for the locket hand, but all these hands have a similar paint, tone to them, where it's a little bit more tan. And then the detailing is really nice too. The way that they did the scrunching of the fingers, getting very close to the palm there. All that looks really nice. The fingernail, thumbnails look good too. Don't remember exactly what's going on here, where he's like doing a very. Oh, I'm so stupid. This is when he does the famous pose with Yuji. Yeah, so I remember that now. My bad, guys. I'm a fake fan. But yeah, we have that, so you can recreate this pose. I told you it's been a while since I've seen season 1, but how could I forget that? So yeah, that's sick. I think there's a speck on the inside of the palm there, but the fingernails look great. Again, some more tan going on in there. Okay, now we have ambidextrous hands, so we have two sets of everything. Of course, we have the clap for Boogie Woogie. That is insane. Very cool. We do have the nice fingernails, tan. Like, it's a little bit more darker on the knuckles and like around the fingernails and all that. And then it gets a little bit lighter. And then, of course, there's some more darker paint on the palms there, so that's sick. These are these expressive type of action hands when he's getting ready to fight people. That's really sick too. Again, his skin tone looks a little glossy the way that it's molded, but the paint in here does help it, be a little bit more consistent with the tan on the figure. Last but not least, we do have these more relaxed hands where he's getting ready to clap with Boogie Woogie. So these are also really cool. And then around, at least on the left hand, it looks like it's getting a little bit darker in the skin tone where it meets the ball joint. So that's what the inside of the hand looks like too. Very nice amount of accessories. If I have to get one complaint out of the way about this figure, at least to me in person, it's that the skin tone is a little bit lighter compared to the rest of the body. It's a little bit more tan. But through the viewfinder, the skin tone kind of matches really well with the face and the rest of the body. This actual face sculpt looks pretty nice too with the smirk here. I really dig what they did with the scar right there. You feel that with all these faces, and you can actually feel where the scar starts there. That's really sick. And the printing on the eyes is nice. The lip color and the teeth, all that is great. In person, actually, it might be more apparent in a viewfinder again. This part here looks a little bit more of a brighter type of black somehow, compared to this looking a little bit darker and glossier. I feel like the back half of his head is a little bit more detailed compared to the front half. And of course, you get that seam line in there. But that's expected with how these figures are engineered, of course. I have yet to really move the head around too much, but right now, this faceplate is pretty secure. I have not played around with the other faces yet. This bun right here is a softer plastic. There's no movability at all. These things don't move, so don't try it. You might rip something, but that is perfect how they did the bun. That's really great. What we get with the rest of this figure is just lots of nice shading in the muscles going on. So looking at his pants, like with a lot of these figures, in the Tamashii Nations stuff, not just Jujutsu Kaisen, they'll mold it in these colors, and maybe they'll have a base coat, but it's really just molded in these colors. Not that they look bad, but that's just usually how it is. They'll paint their figures, of course, But they don't go into crazy shading like this on this figure. This is insane. It's so nice looking, all the different shading. And yeah, it looks a little inconsistent, a little pale in some areas, a little bit darker going on the butterfly joint. Like I think, you know, this is molded in a more tan color compared to what's going on here. But it all looks really good. The muscles are really nicely detailed. The abs, the ribs, the pecs. Everything looks like what's going on the back here. That's really sick. The back muscles, man. That's perfect. I do wish we had, like, I don't know. They were going to be doing more soft goods with some of their figures. I wish that they at least started with this one and gave them a shirt, which I can go get a shirt on eBay, I guess. But a t-shirt would also be nice with this guy. Just be careful when you're using shirts, though, because it could, like, whatever's going on in the fabric of whatever you're going to put on a figure might rub off on the skin tone. So just be careful. But, like, man, this is so good. And then you have some detailing going on, you know, like the sculpting, all that with some paint with the butterfly joints. This man is just beefy, and he is just like the perfect type of beefiness too. They capture this really well. Look at how muscular the shoulder and arms are. The back of the arms look great. Lots of nice, you know, paint shading. It might look a little bit too dark around here, just maybe a little too heavy on the tan, but like all this looks fantastic. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't think it's going to pick up on the camera too much. There's some weird minuscule specks, which you have to look really hard to find. This is something around here looks a little inconsistent, and then I think this is a speck right there that I can't get off. Also, I'm trying to double check everything. There's a speck right there. So it's not super noticeable. A lot of you probably didn't notice until I, you know, pointed it out right now. And so I'm not going to complain too much, but there are some specs on my particular figure. Again, great tan going on here. And then when you bend the elbow, it is a little gappy. Same thing with the knees, it's a little gappy too. But, I mean, the engineering is there for a reason, so you can move things around. You're not going to really be paying attention to this too much when you're posing things around. The fists look good too. Really nice paint going on in there with the shading. In the knuckles, in the fists. Excuse me. You know, usually these are pretty apparent. I really don't mind these like wrist joints being super exposed though. I've never minded at all. That's just something I wanted to mention. We get down to, I don't think they did a belly button, but it's whatever. I was just trying to, it's not a complaint or anything. I was just trying to look. But we have the sash here. It's like a really, it is a separate piece here, but it's molded in white. There's some wrinkles in there, not much going on in here. And then you have the very dark, almost purplish, like blackish pants here, this particular color, with a lot of the Jujutsu Tech students with those colors they wear. We have a lot of wrinkling around the hips, going up on here in the thighs as well. On the back side here, and around the outer thighs, or outer hips I should say, you have that detailing. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, you even have detailing on the back of the knees. And the bagginess is really nice. All the proportions too. Everything looks really good. Yeah, it's a little baggy, but I mean, it's supposed to be baggy. It's in like, it still can like, his legs are still really straight. It's kind of insane, and we'll talk about it in a second. But there's a ball joint a little bit in the hip. That's why he could be a little bit more straight when they put these legs together. But man, everything comes together really nicely. Let me do a back. I did a 360 earlier, but like, I think the only thing is, in some angles, it looks like the head sits up a little too high, and it might be a tiny bit small. But that might just be my eyes playing tricks on me. It really is not very distracting at all. And I think that's kind of how it is in the manga and the anime. Like, this thing just, gosh, man, just looking at it is so nice. All of it just looks, I can't get enough about the overall figure. It just looks awesome. And then you get down here, again, a little heavy on the tan of the shading around the ankles, but it's not too bad. You do have how the feet look there. The bottom of the feet with his shoes. There's not much going on there. That is fine. It's just such a really nice looking figure. Articulation is amazing too. Popping off his head real quick, we have the dumbbell joint system going on here. And then there's also that neck going into the torso. So the back, oh wow, my goodness. I think I had to move the torso a little bit. But going up, I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, but he actually doesn't want to go up that far. That's a little disappointing. The down motion there is fine, and you get that extra, well, the neck doesn't really move that much. Yeah, the neck, I feel like it might be a little tight on mine. or it's just not a lot of range of motion. But side to side and swiveling, you know, all that, really not a big deal. You do have butterfly joints. These can shift up and down too. These arms can go all the way around, again, forward, back. Lots of movement going on around here. Then these go out all the way really well. Yeah, it is a little apparent here, but that range of motion is really awesome to allow that. So awesome. Swivel here. We also have double jointed elbows that bend really well. We do have swivels going on here. It's standard wrist articulation where you can go up and down or in and out. Ball joint here, ball joint here. So that back motion at the abs is not great. Forward a little bit, you know, side to side is pretty good. Swiveling not much here, but you're going to get most of that actually here at this hip. And so all that combined range of motion back and forward is actually much better than the top half of his torso going on there. So that's great. Legs can go out like this. Don't really want to go back at all. I'm trying not to be too rough with the figure to give me guts flashbacks, but this is a really sturdy figure. Kicks out almost complete with the splits. I mentioned earlier a little bit of like a ball joint going on in here, but it's mostly a swivel right there. Double jointed knees. We do have a swivel right here at the actual ankle, That's a little bit tight, and then they're starting to separate at the joint a little bit too much, so I don't love that. But up, down, we do have, again, ankle rocker, toe hinge right there. Measuring out the figure, we're looking pretty close to around 16.5 centimeters, so that is going to put this at around the 6.5-inch range, as you can see there. So he is going to be a bit taller than Yuji and Megumi right there. He's supposed to be, but he still scales pretty well with him. I think he's a pretty accurate size. He's actually a little bit taller than the Retro Spidey on the far left, and he is going to be a little bit taller than Black Series Mando. Overall, an extremely fantastic figure, guys. If I got this even days before I, did my top 10 lists of 2023, this would be on there, honestly. I don't care if it's recency bias. This is an awesome figure. So happy with it. Some of the problems I have really aren't that major. It's just some of the skin tone doesn't match in certain areas. It could be a little bit better in some ways, but it really isn't too bad if you ask me. The actual shading throughout the muscles on this figure is really awesome. Those paint apps are so clean. The articulation on this thing is so smooth. It's really good. The rest of the parts on here too, everything looks great. The proportions are really awesome. All the accessories are fantastic too. The shading and paint on them and just the amount of accessories that we do get is really fantastic. There's not much else I think that this should have come with besides maybe a smiling face plate for Yuji, even though he's not going to be smiling anymore. That would have been nice that we had some kind of, special Yuji accessory here. Really awesome figure. If you are a big fan of Jujutsu Kaisen or this character, or both of course, pick it up. You're gonna want it. I think I got mine for a little bit under 60 from Hobby Genki. I don't know if it's in stock over there, but that's where I pre-ordered it from. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.